Welcome to the final chapter of our Bhutan adventure. In this documentary-style vlog, we dive into some of the kingdom's most remarkable highlights. We wander through towering monasteries and ancient forts in the Himalayan foothills, uncovering every must-see site along the way.
All this before taking on the most famous attraction of Bhutan, the world-famous Tiger's Nest Temple. This mysterious wonder is hidden high up, perched on granite cliff tops, and the journey there must be earned. Along the way, we learn of the history of these unique places, as well as the Bhutanese culture and Buddhist significance of these magnificent sites. Join us in our epic part 2 of Bhutan.
We continue from our previous video, exploring Thimphu before journeying to the beautiful Phobjikha Valley, exploring all the beauty along the way.
As we depart the Phobjikha Valley, we ascend into thick cloud, the surrounding valleys fading into white as our mountain pass towards Punakha becomes cloaked in mystery.
We're about to visit the third oldest fortress in Bhutan. We're about to go in. It was built in 1638. We've come down from 3,000 meters down to 1,500 meters, and it is roasting hot in the valley right now. So about to go inside, and hopefully it'll be a little cooler in there, but it's a beautiful fortress. Look at that. So in July of 2012, this building completely burnt down. It was either a lantern, they think, or an electrical fire, but it took them 9 years to rebuild the whole thing, mainly with donations. But it's a very, very important place, this fortress here, and they actually do a lot of the ceremonies here in this main square that we're in right now, like mask dancing and things like that. Absolutely stunning though, this architecture.
So this place right here is called Wangdi, which means windy. And you can see there's windmills in the background, but they're not moving because it's not so windy today.
Yeah. Those windier places they'd like. This is our beautiful room, the Lobesa Resort in Punakha. That's our view. So we're heading to Chimi Lhakhang, which is the Fertility Temple built in the 15th century. I'm gonna go up there right now and check out the temple. There's some discretionary advice. There is going to be a lot of phallic symbols there. By phallic, I mean penises. But these kids don't mind. Hi. So I don't know if YouTube does any restrictions around that sort of thing or whatnot, but I guess we'll find out. It is how it is. It's educational. We're finding out about this culture. So let's go and see the Fertility Temple.
In Punakha, the painted and carved phallus symbols can be surprising, yet here they represent protection, fertility, and good fortune. This tradition comes from the divine madman who used humor and shock to expose hypocrisy and share Buddhist teachings.
What do you think of the village, Miranda?
Oh, it's adorable.
What about this little kid here?
The penises.
Kususang pala! So the temple is dedicated to the divine madman, the Lama Drupka Kunli, and it was said that he had these unorthodox teaching methods. He was a bit of a strange character, a bit of a vagabond. In his personal life, he was out drinking and partying and fraternizing with women and things like that. The temple was made by his cousin in his honor, dedicated towards him, and the phallic symbol apparently has to symbolize the uncomfortable realities of life, but also it is a fertility symbol as well. So a lot of people come here, couples come here in particular, if they're having troubles conceiving, or if the lady would like to get pregnant. I've already given Miranda a little bit of a warning about this one, because they do say if you carry the phallic symbol around and walk around in a circle, that you'll become pregnant. We've already spoken with our guide Sonam, and we've told him, you know, we need a few years before that happens, because we're going to be traveling for a few more years. So if there's any way that they can delay the pregnancy, that would be ideal. But we're going to go up and check it out now. I'm not sure if I can film it inside, because generally in temples you can't film inside, so we'll find out when we get up there. So why the phallic symbols? It's actually quite a quirky and strange story, as you'd probably assume. We spoke about this guy a little earlier, the Divine Madman. He was the guy that created the Tarkan, and also yesterday as well we went up into the high pass with the stupas, and we mentioned about how he defeated some evil demons up there. People didn't actually follow him beforehand because they thought he was a little bit strange, you know, a little bit off. Like I was saying before, he used to go out, fraternize with the ladies and party, and he wouldn't wear the respectable monk cloak. He'd walk around in short pants and sing his prayers and things like that. Once he defeated this demon, essentially people started to then respect him and worship him. And they used to all come up, give him the sashes, the cloth, like we got when we arrived. You know, it's a bit of a blessing sort of thing to wear the sash cloth around the neck. And when they'd put it around his neck, he said, "You're not worthy enough to put it around his neck." Pull down his pants and say, "Put it down there." And that's where it all comes from. Interestingly enough, if you go to a lot of Buddhist homes, they actually have this as a symbol of good luck on their home, which is essentially a phallic symbol with a sash hanging over the bits. Bit of an interesting story there behind that one. We saw a fair few couples lining up to do the walk around the temple. So they walk around 3 times with this big giant, looks like a rocket pack, I guess, jet pack. It's like a backpack with a big giant penis on it, and the girl has to walk around 3 times. And apparently she'll get pregnant. You know, they got this book for people from all over the world that have sent in pictures of their children and written letters and said, "Oh, thanks to you, you know, you have a healthy child now," and whatnot. So interesting stories. So we are at Punakha Dzong, or Punakha Fort, and this fortress is the second oldest and second largest fortress in Bhutan. It was built in 1637 and it served as the administrative and royal capital between 1907, when the first king of Bhutan was crowned, up until 1955. And the most recent king and queen got married here also. Very, very beautiful and massive fortress. We're going to go explore it. saw this a little earlier when we checked out the fort. The forts have multi-purposes. The administrative area is generally the start of the fortification, as well as the ceremonial area. So the square that we're in right now would be used for the mass dances and ceremonies. And the back part is generally the religious, so that's where they have the temples and whatnot. And apparently the back part that we're going into right now is the original part of the fort from the 1600s, and from the 20th century when the kings came through, they expanded the fort throughout this area here. Back here we can see the original fortress from 1637. This was built all in this section here, and the very first king of Bhutan was crowned here in 1907. So we couldn't film inside there, but it was pretty epic, right? Pretty spectacular.
It was probably the best temple we've seen so far.
Yeah, on the inside for sure.
Golden statues.
Yeah, there's a big statue of the Buddha, and then next to him you've got the reincarnation of the Buddha, who was born in Pakistan and born from a lotus flower, the belief goes. And on the other side, the unifier of Bhutan. He's actually worshipped here in this building. I forget his name. They go in there and they basically bring tribute food like he's still alive to this day. So they bring food in there, even though obviously he's not, and then that food gets distributed afterwards. But the murals inside, absolutely stunning. Sonam, our guide, explained a lot of the Buddhist principles, as well as the story of Adatta, the prince that gave up his life of royalty to find enlightenment and became the Buddha himself. One of the top things you have to do in Punakha is the bridge, the 180-meter long bridge that crosses the Punakha River. Beautiful time of the day too, we're getting some of that late golden hour lighting. I'm going to try stop and get some nice shots of the fortress in this beautiful lighting right now. The red rice lager. Absolutely delish. First stop of the day is Simtoka Dzong, which is actually the oldest fortress in Bhutan. It was built in 1629. We're about to go inside the temple complex, and as with all of the Buddhist temples in Bhutan, we cannot take photos inside, so we're going to remove our shoes and go inside. And once again, I've worn the long sleeve shirts. That's the respect for entering the fortresses, always wearing the long sleeve shirts and the long pants as well. The fort was established by Shabdrung Ngawang Namgyal, who was the unifier of Bhutan. In fact, there were 20 forts around Bhutan that were established by him at the time. We've seen some big shrines in there, not only to obviously the Buddha, but also to himself, as he is revered throughout Bhutan. We've seen him in quite a few of the different temples and forts throughout Bhutan. Once we got inside, beautiful adornments and drawings on the inside, very different from what we seen yesterday, because the ones that we saw yesterday inside of the temples, the murals, were actually recreated, whereas the ones here are from back in the 1800s, I believe. So they don't update them, and the reason why Sonam, our guide, was saying is because There is a bit of a superstition or a fear that if you were to mess up any of the paintings, for example, if you drew an eye wrong, then your child would come with some sort of deformation, or maybe you'd have some sort of illness. So these are kind of superstitions. They're not ingrained in the Buddhist religion. In fact, Buddha never even mentioned any of these sorts of things, but it just sort of pushes that perfectionism when it comes to creating these things. And speaking of perfectionism, when we were in there, we saw an amazing ceremony going on. The monks had all come in and they were playing the music and doing their chant and the scriptures. They basically train for this. The students, actually, some of the masters come around with whips if they're not doing it well. We didn't see that, and I don't know how often that happens these days, but it was just a really, really nice procession. A lot of the local people came in and listening to it, praying, giving donations, and they even came around and gave us some tea and some snacks as well, which was really nice. So it was just a really, really cool experience. So we're about to enter into the National Museum of Bhutan here in Paro. They've got a solo contemporary art exhibition that we're going to check out first. Then we'll go to the National Museum, and after that we are going to trek down to the dzong, or the fortress here in Paro. So there's a little bit of a walk through the countryside and some of the village area. Unfortunately, we couldn't take cameras into the museum itself, which is a bit of a shame because it's really beautiful, and they basically have artworks and relics going back to the 12th century even. Quite a beautiful structure. The actual watchtower itself that the museum sits inside of was built in 1649 as a guard tower for the actual fortifications that we're about to go down to below. And those fortifications there built 5 years prior in 1644. I'm gonna go for a walk now. Now, it looks like it's about to rain, so hopefully we get down there to the actual fortifications before the rain hits. You can hear some thunder going on, so I'm gonna start walking fast now. Beautiful views down here too. Have a look at this. This is all of Paro down here. Right, there's the thunder. The ravens are flying overhead. It's an omen.
Dzong once stood as the main defense of the Paro Valley and remains a symbol of Bhutan's unity. Inside, colorful murals portray scenes from Buddhist legends, each offering a glimpse into the nation's spiritual past. So it was said that when the Buddha reached enlightenment, he was offered thousands of relics and items, and out of those thousands of relics and items, he chose 8 separate items, and they are outlined here. I will talk a little bit about some of them here, including the lotus flower here. It was said that when he came back, his next reincarnate was born inside of the lotus flower as Guru Padmasambhava, which was, he was born in Pakistan, and he pretty much brought the word of Buddhism all the way throughout the Himalayas and the region, including Bhutan, which at the time practiced the Bon religion. It was kind of like an old animalistic sort of spiritual religion. They used to do sacrifices and things like that. The conch shell, which is used in all the ceremonies for blowing the shell, which we heard earlier when we witnessed the monk ceremony in the temples. This is the eternity symbol, this one here, so no beginning, no end. It's the eternity of existence, I suppose. The wheel, so it's basically for his transport to get the word around of Buddhism.
And there's also a parasol up there that provides the protection as well. There's the holy water vase as well. We saw the monks drinking that earlier. The fish, and also protection over here also. So there's quite a few meanings behind these, deeper meanings, but that's just a couple of them. We're in the township of Paro, which is known as the gateway to Bhutan. This is where the international airport in Bhutan is located, where we flew in a few days ago. And it's also known as the cultural hub of Bhutan. So a lot of handicrafts are created here, sculptures, paintings, things like that. The other thing it's known for, which we are going to check out tomorrow, is the world famous Tiger's Nest Temple, which we'll check out. We're going to do a 5-hour round trip hike up to the Tiger's Nest Temple, beautiful monastery that's perched on the edge of a granite cliff top. And hopefully the weather will be nice and clear, because the forecast says it's going to be a little bit funky, but we're going to leave really early in the morning. Hopefully we'll get some great views up there, and we're really looking forward to it. So yeah, we're just gonna have a little walk around Paro and get ourselves prepared for the hike tomorrow.
We're about to hike up to the most famous site in Bhutan, which is the Tiger's Nest Monastery, all the way up there in the clouds. Hopefully the clouds will clear a little bit when we get up there. It's very early in the morning. This is preparation for a very big hike coming up in Nepal.
Trail is 6.4 kilometers, so heading all the way up there, and 611 meters of elevation. Oh, already out of breath. The air is getting thin up here at this altitude. So the alternative way of getting up is here. You can see the horses that they have that pack people up to only to the cafe, not all the way up to the monastery itself. I'm not sure exactly how well the horses are kept, although it is Bhutan and animal welfare is like one of the highest principles in Bhutanese philosophy. So I'd like to think that the animals, the horses, are treated relatively well, but I'm not sure how much they enjoy tracking people up and down the mountain all day. We are almost at 3,000 meters now, so Miranda's excited.
Still breathing well.
She's going at a good pace, I tell you what. She's kicking my butt. She's kicking all of our butts, actually, all of us guys here. The total that we're doing today is 3,144 meters. That's how high we'll be getting. Oh, The air is thin though. Deep breaths. So we've reached the cafe. We have made it halfway. We made it halfway, guys.
Yes.
Woo! Party. How you guys feeling? Good?
Good, good.
Mr. Sonam La?
Yes,
Mr. Mani La? And you're in the traditional outfit too,
Yes,
so
sir.
it's even more hard. What is the name of the traditional outfit?
Go.
Go. Go. Okay. And they're both go?
Yes.
And the ladies, they wear?
Kira.
Kira. So they're wearing the traditional go and still hiking up. Here we are in our breathable merinos. All right, we're gonna stop here at the cafe and just wait for some of this fog to lift. It's very thin fog, so on occasion we can see the tops of the mountains and the cliffs, so we are feeling optimistic that it'll lift, but a good opportunity to stop and have some tea.
The sun's trying to peek out.
It's coming up. It's coming. So we can see some pictures up here of the Tiger's Nest Monastery itself, and you can actually see here in 1905 there was a big fire here, and there's been 2 fires since it's been built in 1692. The second one was in 1998. So yeah, you can see the restorations here, and just after the restoration complete in 2005. Pretty destructive actually. So beautiful, can't wait to see it. We can just see some glimpses through the clouds from our window here in the cafe. What do you think, Chicky? Look at that. So we finally got a break in the clouds, and look at that. That's absolutely stunning. I think we're gonna get going now. So I'm about to refill from the holy water. This is a spring that in legend was created by Podampa Sangi, a master who created a spring from this dry cave up here. I'm gonna drink some of this holy water. I feel blessed, enlightened. All right, we're almost there. How long do you think now?
Roughly another 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Roughly, like.
Let's do it. How are you feeling, Miranda? Good? Yeah, she's killing it. Okay, so we've made our way to the very first viewpoint of the Tiger's Nest Monastery, and so far we've got a little bit of cloud here. However, there is supposed to be another lookout a little bit lower that could be even better, so we're going to stop down there and wait. We just saw some grey langurs back there, and Mr. Sonam thinks that that means we have good luck, so We're going to see if these clouds clear up just a little bit for us to get some nice shots. What do you think?
Beautiful.
That is so cool. The clouds create a nice little atmosphere as well. So Mr. Sonam was correct. We have good luck, and I think this weather is actually perfect. You know, the clouds create that little sense of mysticism, and it's just so atmospheric. It's so beautiful here. So it was built in 1692 on the spot where it was said that the Guru Rinpoche meditated here after flying up on the back of a tigress. It's quite an interesting story as well. I'm gonna go up and check out the inside of the monastery now. So it's 350 steps down and 350 steps back up. It's 700 each way, so 1,400 steps there and back. Can we film inside or no filming inside?
Inside, no.
No.
There, the flag glass.
Okay.
From there, you're not supposed to take camera.
Sure. I understand. Oh, this is stunning. Look at that backdrop. Alright, so we've reached the bottom of the 350 steps. Look at that waterfall just cascading down. Okay. We've gone down and now we are heading back up. So the name of the monastery itself is Taksang, and Taksang in the Bhutanese language actually means the tiger's den, or it's basically a place where a tiger lives. Tsang is the den and Tak is the tiger. They didn't have the direct translation for English, so they called it the tiger's nest, and I think perched up on the hills here on the cliffs, it kind of feels like you're climbing up to an eagle's nest. Does he have a name?
I don't know, sir.
You don't know his name? Yeah, oh, you're visiting as well. Very friendly. You're a very friendly puppy. Sorry, the dog needed pets. So we're just about to go up into the monastery. We're not allowed to take the phones or cameras, so we're going to store them away. Check it out. This is even a mystery for us. We've done so much research, but haven't seen any pictures or videos inside, so I think that actually makes it a little more mysterious. One good reason to leave early. We left at 6 a.m. and when we arrived, we were some of the first people to arrive here, and now it's getting really, really busy. Plus the rain's coming in, so we're losing that visibility of the actual monastery. We've just come out of the monastery and it is absolutely amazing inside. 9 separate temples. We can visit 8 temples, some of which are quite important to the Buddhist religion, like the cave where Guru Rinpoche was said to have meditated. We visited that cave. And also there is a golden statue of him in the temple above, which survived the fire in 1998. So it's kind of like a blessed statue. They say one mantra in that room equals 1,000 outside here. So we sat in there and made some prayers, did some mantras, drank some holy water as well, which is saffron water. You have a little jug there with a peacock feather, and it's said that the peacock feather symbolizes that there's no poison in the jug. And we also lit a butter lamp and made some prayers for our family And if any of our family members are watching, then you will be getting good luck because of that. All right, well, we're heading back now. We're going down our 350 steps and then up another 350. For the bottom, we are going to stop for lunch at the cafe where we stopped on the way up. So we'll sit down there and hopefully we might get some clear views at some point if the clouds decide to move away. Either way, I think we've got some pretty good views, so can't complain. So we're doing a little bit of an advanced detour right now. We're actually heading up to a lookout with a temple on top that sits above the tiger's nest. Just Miranda and myself. The other two are going to meet us back down at the cafe. This is going to be a little extra training for our trek, of course, but it was said, and this is what Sonamla, our guide, was saying, that after the Guru Rinpoche came down here and meditated in the cave, a lot of the other masters would come here and meditate and look down towards the cave. And you can actually imagine how they actually started up the monastery. First it was just surrounding the cave, and then later they expanded bit by bit. So the cave, just to give you a bit of an idea, would be the lowest part of the monastery, right down there, just to give you a rough indication of where it's located. I'm envious of this guy. This is what I feel like doing. But instead, we are doing this all the way up to the top.
Through the mist, we climb to Zandok Pelri, the celestial mansion of Guru Rinpoche. This is believed to be a pure realm where devotees can receive the Guru's blessings.
Okay, so we've reached the top, the temple overlooking the tiger's nest at 3,210 meters. That view below is spectacular, and we didn't realize, but there's actually another temple right on top as well. What do you think, Miranda?
Beautiful up here.
The views are fantastic.
Shall we head to lunch?
Yeah, that's our trail there, is it? I'm going to follow that.
Trail's down here.
No, that's the normal trail. So we're doing this one along here. It looks like there's another temple over there, actually. And then the regular trail's down here. You can see all the people on it. Let's do it. We got a little thrown off on the way down because we got to a gate and there were all these dogs barking, but apparently it was like a territorial dispute. There was another guide there with a girl from Mexico, and they've actually stopped off here at this monastic school, but we're going to head back to the cafeteria because our guides are waiting for us down there. But yeah, a little bit of a scary moment when they all just started barking, and we're like, oh, these friendly dogs or not so friendly dogs. We're going to head down now. Let's go. Cheeky was worried, weren't you, Cheeky?
How about the dogs?
After lunch and a small celebratory drink, we begin our descent, heading back toward the valley floor, where our perfect post-hike recovery is waiting.
Oh, this is cool. So you got your own little private bathtubs.
Okay, so your head is towards this side.
Okay.
You will be stretching your feet till this partition.
Okay. Perfect.
In case you want to increase the temperature, you can just knock here and say hot stone.
Oh, right.
And they will add the hot stone in that compartment over there.
Oh, the hot stone's in the back there, yes.
So, regarding the benefits, the stone and the water itself heals the joint pain, fracture bone, muscle pains and all.
Excellent.
These herbs helps in healing wounds, digestive problems and all.
That's what I'm
So, in case it is it's too hot for you, you can turn on the cold water.
Probably me.
In case you want to increase the temperature, you can just knock. Okay?
Excellent.
And regarding the timing, it's 1 hour.
1 hour, okay.
But during 1 hour, stay in for 20 minutes.
Yep.
After 20 minutes, come out, sit on the sides and rest for 2 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
When you rest, drink this water.
Okay.
Then again, hop inside for 20 minutes.
Okay.
So come out, go in, do this continuously to not get that much dizzy. Okay.
What's the herbs in here?
This one is Artemisia.
Oh, yeah, I smelled this one the other day. It's beautiful.
I was not expecting that. That's how the hot stone works. Oh my god. Is it really hot?
Not yet.
It might take a little while. So this is our one here. It's Miranda's with the big giant stone. God, I got a lot of stones in mine actually. And the herb, what was that called again? Artemisia. And you said you can use it for cuts and everything for wounds.
That's where they get all their stones from.
The water.
So we're here at Namgay Artisanal Brewery in Paro, and I've just done a bit of a sample of all of these beers. Actually, the red rice lager and the wheat beer I've had before, and they are phenomenal. But they've also got a Momo or peach beer. They got a pineapple ghost, which is, he said they used yogurt and salt, so it's a little bit like a sour. Pale ale, IPA with double the hops, it was super hoppy. Milk stout, which was also a little bit bitter, but I do like a milk stout, and a dark ale, which was a smoky roasted flavour. I'm actually going to go with my favourite, which is the wheat beer, and it takes me back to my days in Germany when, you know, people used to drink the wheat beer after a big long hike with the electrolyte kick that would give you the boost. So I'm going to go with that. Plus, it's slightly lower alcohol. It's 4.5%, whereas the red rice lager is 6%, which is phenomenal. I would highly recommend it. So they actually had a bit of a promo. You know, if you buy a beer, you get one free. So I've got the wheat beer, which, as I mentioned before, was a favourite. And I also got the pineapple one, which, like, I normally wouldn't get a sour beer, but after today, the hot pools and the hiking, I kind of wanted something that was just a little refreshing. And it is actually really nice. It's not too sweet, which is one of the things that sometimes turns me off sours. I'm not going to pretend to be a beer connoisseur here, but I will talk about how beautiful these views are behind us there. It's so cool.
From Paro Airport, we bid farewell to this wonderful country before flying back to Nepal to begin our biggest challenge yet. Join us as we attempt the 3 passes trek to Everest Base Camp, surrounded by the world's highest mountains in an incredible Himalayan adventure.
Hey guys, just a quick message. We really hope you enjoyed this video.
If there's anyone you think would enjoy our videos, please share and help us grow global travel stories. We thank you for your support.